Dr. Purva Mittal is with Chakshumathi and Chakshumathi's associate in the KI for last 1 year. She herself is giving training and coaching to many students in Chakshumathi for their preparation to join Ivy universities under our program, The Road to Ivy. Purva Mittal is a spinal muscular atrophy patient. SMA is a very rare disease and it costs life for most of the people. She might be the longest living SMA patient in India. And within this period, with all this trouble, all these difficulties, she managed to complete a doctorate, and currently she is pursuing with another one. She is a very brilliant mind, everybody should follow. Let me introduce today's specialty. For the last 7 weeks, Chakshumathi was running its public speaking club. Even though we called Toastmasters, we were not officially Toastmasters. And last week, we were awarded with an official membership. Official membership is also a temporary for an year for them to see and watch our performances. Our club number is 78968485. Toastmasters International is one of the oldest non-profit organizations in the world since 1924. The major motto of Toastmasters International is to develop public speaking skills with public. Because most of the people, when the time comes to speak, they go behind. Because they don't have confidence, even though they can speak. So I remember one small incident. You all might have heard about a famous tennis player called Andre Agassi. Andre Agassi was a grand master in tennis. And while he was a young player, his coach called him and said, Andre, I am going to be very strict with you, but I am not going to change your behavior and character because I am not qualified for that, because I am also not that good in that behavior. Because when you train horses, there are 2 kinds of horses out there. One is racing horse and another is an working horse. Training for both are different. Racing horses are really agitate you. They jump, and they want to reach first. So they are not easy to be tamed and hold, but they can be trained to run fast. Like that, Andre Agassi is a sportsman. So it is not easy to tame him like that. So what the coach said is like, Andre, come here. Look at the sky. There is a star in the name of Andre Agassi. One day you can reach that star. To reach that star, I can help you. you can climb in my shoulder. You can reach the star and you will become a star one day. Here with Chakshumathi Inclusive Toastmasters and Gavel Club, all our aim behind the organizers of Chakshumathi and the volunteers of Chakshumathi, we only have one aim. That is to make you all a star in your life. Okay, here there are two clubs participating. One is Toastmasters, another is Gavel Club. Toastmasters is for someone who is above 18 years of old. Gavel Club is for people below 18 years of old. You know, when someone's in the stage speaking some of their life incident, there can be adult content also. Adult content means big boys or big girls' life experiences. That can't be talked to the smaller children. That is the reason there are two different clubs. One is above 18 years and one is below 18 years. Today's program is joined together as a Toastmasters and Gavel Club. We yet to hear back from Toastmasters. Will there be any objection if we host both clubs together, since our membership is very low? It is yet to grow big. Once it grows big, we can have two different sessions. One is Toastmasters, another one is Gavel Club. Anyway, in both places, what is our idea? If you let us know earlier that you are going to deliver a speech, we can assign a trainer for you. Because the trainer can definitely improve your body language, your delivery method, your voice modulation, your punctuation, your way of talking, and the language of speak. So for next program onwards, please let us know in advance, at least a week before that, you are going to talk on a particular subject on the next event. Okay, Chakshumathi Toastmasters and Gavel Club is an inclusive club. Inclusive club means it is accessible for people who are in special needs. Also, the club provides membership for the normal people also, because then only we can compete our mettle or compete our caliber with the rest of the world, because you are supposed to be molded to live in an inclusive world where you have to be a star and champion. So we are giving some complimentary memberships or invitation memberships to some sighted students and sighted youth also to the club, because then those who are in special need can understand the standard in there and standard in here, and we will bridge that gap and make you all wonderful speakers. So thank you very much for joining today. Thank you, Professor V.K. Damodaran. Thank you, Dr. Jebamalai, for your precious time spending with us. Today's Toastmaster, as I said, Dr. Pooja Mittal, will be taking over from me now. Over to Pooja.
Pleasure to be appointed Toastmasters of the day. I am here representing the Chakshumathi assistive.
Purva, your volume is not okay.
She is not audible, sir.
Purva, you are not audible.
Is it better now?
If you are finding difficulty, this is better. If you can talk a little more loud, it's fine. Because Purva sometimes gets difficulty in
Give me a
voice.
minute, sir. I'll just join back with another instrument, and I think it will be better.
Okay. We'll just hold for a minute. Sorry for the mishap.
No problem.
Okay, to everyone, I'm still admitting people. As per Chakshumathi tradition, if it is 11 o'clock, 11 o'clock we start. There is no delay anywhere. So 11 means you had to be sharp at 11. 3 means you had to be sharp at 3 o'clock. So all Toastmaster meetings starts at 3. Okay, Purva is back.
Hello, everyone. I'm extremely sorry for the delay. Let's just start by inviting Toastmaster Professor V.K. Damodharan, sir. He is the chairman of Chakshumathi Assistive Technology Center and Chakshumathi Inclusive Academy. And I would like to invite him to welcome a toast.
Thank you. Very specially this afternoon, Dr. Jebamalai Vinanchiarachi, Sri Ramkamal Manoj, and many other young friends who are hooked up to this network to be Toastmasters of tomorrow. It's a great thing to be a Toastmaster. Generally, Toastmasters are great speakers. Unfortunately, you will find that I am not one among them. I talk and also talk, but you cannot call me a great speaker. But the person who is going to speak next, he is none other than Dr. Arachi, who is beloved friend of mine, as well as some others in this audience. And I can only describe him or his speech only by a small sentence, because his speech or his talk is a festival of words. Festival of words. Only when you listen to him, you will understand what I mean by that. I have actually participated in such festivals several times over the past several years, not only in India, but in several other countries. First, I met him and had an experience of this festival in Sudan several years back. Thereafter, in many places, in Vienna, in other places, and in India also, in several places. So I don't want to tell more things about that. I only, as the chairman of the Chakshumathi institutions, the Assistive Technology Center, as well as the Inclusive Academy, as well as the new initiative of creating Toastmasters and the Gavel Club members. All that I want to say is the ability to speak persuasively, powerfully, lovably, enjoyably is really a gift. So you will actually wonder if that is a gift, whether you do have that gift or not. Just by joining this club, not having this gift, will you become a good Toastmaster? All that I have to say is there is a Toastmaster in everybody. Some people, they are wonderful in their own mother tongue. Some people, they are good in other language, even better than their mother tongue. Some people are good speakers in multiple languages. Whatever may be the language, the ideas that they have to actually to put forward, that is so overwhelming, so powerful, and they become passionate. They become passionate with words, and words become weapons or guns or cannons. And you have then a cannon fire of words, well arranged and sent out in sequence and well connected. It is not a question of just jetting out few words which sounds bombastic. Not so. It should actually appeal to the listener's mind. And also it should be pleasant to the ears. So you have to make it with certain decorum, certain rules, and certain etiquettes that we can actually think of. In fact, in the Toastmasters Club, you try to learn all those things. In any crowd, how you can make your listeners, your followers, that is converting even an unruly mob. A good speaker can actually pacify them, bring them down, and make them sit and make them listen. And gradually, the ideas that you put forward sinks into their mind. They start accepting your ideas. Then they become your followers. So this is the great transformation a good Toastmaster can actually do. A good speaker can do. That is why we revere people who can actually speak well. We always look at, for example, when India got independent, I was actually a very young boy at that time, only 7 years. And we used to look forward for a speech by the Prime Minister. It was very informative, very illuminating, giving a lot of hopes for us, and we used to listen to him. So every sentence, every word, and literally every letter of what he said was something great for us. And in the history, you hear of so many such leaders, some from Africa, some from America, some from Europe, and many from India too. And they have all made speaking very important things to a large section of people and bringing change in them. Vivekananda, a person like that. Actually, Dr. Arachi comes from a place where there is a befitting monument for Vivekananda, Kanyakumari. So, and it so happens that Dr. Arachi himself is a good speaker. And last point of mine is that what is the net gain? It's not about making some people listen to you and changing them, etc. But there is still more practical, gainful advantage of being a good speaker or a Toastmaster. That is, many people want so many things. Many people have lot of abilities, but it is only that person who can make his point either in a conversation, in an interview, or through a speech. His point well understood and accepted by the other side, especially the decision makers. Only such people get recognized and rewarded. So if you want to really become anybody or anything or gain any particular abilities or a position or whatever it is, your ability to speak right in front of that person with sufficient logic, that means with sufficient reason and sufficient matter and with proper words, then only you can make your point and gain what you want. This is why I said Dr. Arachi and his speech is a festival of words. What it is, you better experience. I don't want to say anything further. I only say that I wish both the clubs great success in the years to come, because even Chakshumathi, which we started some 10 years back, is now branded and benchmarked all over the world, not only across India, all over the world. And the Inclusive Academy that we have started, especially Ram Kamal Manoj is actually fully behind those things, solidly behind all of you to get what you want from each one of these organizations. We are all just behind him to give him all support. So just like that, those organizations, I'm sure each one of you, some of you are shy, some of you are groping for words, all those things will change over a few months. You will get enormous amount of experience in speaking. You will get number of opportunities, and more you use your opportunities. You become a better and better Toastmaster. At the end, you will find that I have managed it. I have got it. Now I can speak whatever I want, or I can ask for what I want from anybody. I'm not worried. Let it be the UN chief, let it be the country head, let it be the state chief, or anybody for that matter, or a policeman, or somebody else who is a law enforcer. Even to them, you can actually speak in a nice way, a play of words that will actually defeat and bring them closer to you, along with you, and with you forever. Let me wish success for each one of you and for these clubs, and close my words with the best wishes that I can offer. Thank you.
The wise words of Professor reminds me when Bill Gates once said, as we look ahead into the next century, leaders will be those who empower others. And that is what your words did to us today, sir. Thank you so much. I would like to tell you a little about the professor to our audience. Professor V.K. Damodaran is an academician, engineer, and was the government secretary for energy and technology. He is one of those masterminds who brought electricity to the remotest villages of Africa. He was also the former managing director of International Center for Small Hydropower in China. Thank you so much for your presence, sir. It really means a lot for each and every one of us today. Moving on, now I would like to invite our Toastmaster, Dr. Jebamalai, President of Chakshumathi Toastmasters, to inaugurate the Chakshumathi Inclusive Toastmasters officially. I would also like to request him to talk about the special techniques he has been using throughout to become an influential speaker who is able to capture the soul of his audience. Over to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Good afternoon to everybody. Learned Professor D.K. Damodaran, my good friend Mr. Ram Kamal, Toastmasters and members of the Gavel Club. I am extremely grateful to the organizers in general and to Mr. Ram Kamal in particular for giving me this unique opportunity to be part of the inaugural ceremony of Chakshumathi Inclusive Toastmasters and Gavel Club. I feel honored. I would like to use this unique opportunity to share with you my experience in and experiments with the task of emerging as a good speaker. I will not say that I am the best speaker, but I somehow managed to emerge as a good speaker from a very bad background. When I was in the school, I was a mediocre. I was not at all interested in studying. I was always fond of eating. In fact, my ultimate aim was to become a servant in a bakery. I should work in a bakery. That was my ambition. I thought if I happened to get an opportunity to work in a bakery, I could pick up everything and eat because I was fond of eating, not at all interested in studying. And to be very honest, I was not technically qualified to be promoted from one standard to another standard, first standard to second standard, the third standard. Fortunately, my father was the president of the village and the headmaster was always afraid of my father. So I was promoted every year. So I never failed by virtue of my father's very big power in the village. I want to be very frank here. So I managed to get 30, 35 minimum required for passing in the class. And then when I completed my SSLC, at the time they used to have SSLC in Tamil Nadu, then I was not qualified for admission to science subject in any college for pre-university. Somehow, due to some influence, my father managed to get me admission for that. I was not at all interested in studying there also. Very mediocre. And I still remember the leave letters I wrote to the headmaster when I was in the school. I could not write one grammatically defensible sentence in English. I could not speak properly. I could not read properly. I could not write properly, both in Tamil and English, because I was a mediocre student. So all the leave letters started with, as I am suffering from. This was the only sentence I could write. As I am suffering from, once I wrote like this, as I am suffering from fever, I want the headmaster to take leave. You can imagine the standard of my English at that time. Then during my sister's marriage, I wrote, as I am suffering from my sister's marriage, this time I said, I want to take leave. There was some improvement. I did not ask the headmaster to take leave. I wanted to take leave. So all the leave letters started with, as I am suffering, irrespective of any reason. And then when I was doing my pre-university, during the chemistry examination, in the hall, there's a big hall, Lebo Auditorium in St. Xavier's College in Palayamadu. When the question paper was distributed, all my classmates who received the question paper, they were looking at each other, breaking their head. Some of them were tearing the question paper into pieces. I was the only cool character. I didn't know what was going on there. There was a big pandemonium in the class, in the hall. I was the only cool character, started writing the answer, having received the question paper. So after the exam, when we were climbing the steps down, I asked my classmates, I told them, when the question paper was distributed, you were all in a perplexed mood. And what happened? They said, you don't know what happened. I don't know what happened, I said. They said 80% of the questions were out of syllabus. I didn't know even the syllabus. Since 80% of the questions were out of syllabus, the Board of Examiners gave 40% moderation. So everybody got 40%. The minimum required was 35%. Everybody passed. I also passed. Even with the 40% moderation, I managed to get only third class in pre-university. So I was not technically qualified for admission to science subjects. So when I applied for admission to zoology, the then principal for the Antony Swami told me, "You are a stupid guy, good for nothing, and I should not. I already wasted a seat in pre-university. Had I given it to somebody, that guy would have gone to the medical college. Now you are not qualified for. There is a subject called the refugee subject. Those who could not get admission for any other subject were dumped there. That is economics." He said, "I have already admitted 19 refugees there. You are admitted for this course, go and sit there." Okay, I went there. There were 19 refugees, but all of them became great men. One guy became member of parliament, another one became managing director of Taj Coromandel. They all emerged as men of a very high caliber. So even during the first year of my doing BA economics, I was not. Somehow I was attracted by great speakers. My own classmate, Mr. Valamburi John, who became member of Rajya Sabha, he was the most powerful speaker in the college. And he was my classmate and in the hostel roommate. And I used to observe me. I was very unhappy that I was not Valamburi John. So he could mesmerize everybody, and when he speaks, whenever he spoke. So Mr. Kobal Sami, the famous politician in Tamil Nadu, he was our senior. There was always a competition between Valamburi John and Kobal Sami. But every time Valamburi John won. Then I used to analyze why I am not able to articulate, I am not able to even speak one grammatically defensible sentence in English, but Valamburi John is able to do that. I used to see his style of functioning. And what he used to, on all Saturdays, the hostel warden used to allow us to go for the matinee show in the nearby theatres. And whenever I went for the matinee, Valamburi John used to tell me, when you on the way to the theatre, you get off at the railway station, and there are two papers you have to buy. One is Current and Blitz. In those terms, those papers were very popular. And I used to buy, and after seeing the cinema, I used to go back and give it to him. He used to read it very loudly, read out the words very loudly, practicing. He was doing his homework. Then I thought, why can't I should also try to do the same. Then one day, for an exam, Elements of Commerce, I started spending 2 hours reading Moore Market Bazaar notebook. So after 1 week, when the college professor, Kanaka Sabapati, when he distributed the paper, I stood first in the class. I just spent 2 hours reading ordinary notebook, Bazaar notebook on Elements of Commerce. And I stood first in the class. I got 46 out of 50. Then even the professor could not believe, and he asked me whether I copied. I said I did not copy. Then I came back to the room, reflected on that episode, spending 2 hours reading an ordinary book on Elements of Commerce. I could score. I realized two things in my life. I thought whatever is prescribed for me in the syllabus is definitely within my capability. That one I realized. That was a turning point in my life. 2 things I realized. Whatever is prescribed for me, whatever I am supposed to do is definitely within my capability. Number 2, all that I need to do is to spend time. So this is not rocket science. I told myself, I'm going to do this tomorrow onwards. So the next day onwards, I looked like a totally different student. The priest used to tell me, there is something positive in you. You are not the same Jebamalai. You are different. You have changed a lot. And one father, the then vice principal, Father Oswald, used to tell me very often, Jebamalai, I think something good is happening in you. What I used to do, I thought, okay, hereafter, I will take notes in the class. I used to take notes in my own broken English. At that time, my English was not good. So when I came to the hostel, I used to read the subject using my own broken English. But I understood the subject very well because I wrote it in my language, I read it in my language, so I could comprehend everything. So my challenge was to write it in proper English. How to do that? So in those days, in St. Xavier's College, they used to keep the library open for 24 hours. So I used to go after 4 o'clock and sit and I used to take 4 books on the same subject and manually copy. In those days, you could not cut and paste. Manually copy sentences, paragraphs, and this and that, copying, and preparing essay of my own on each subject taught on that day. Without completing that 5 assignments or 8 assignments, I would not go to bed. I practiced it, and gradually I could see a transformation within me. I was becoming intellectually better off. I was scoring very good marks, and I was commanding high respect among the teachers and students as a serious student. I could see that there was a transformation. All that I did was spending time. Nothing will fall like manna from heaven. You may desire to become a good speaker, but you cannot become a good speaker unless you put in a lot of efforts into that. You have to do your homework. So then one day, one professor who was staying in the campus, professor of English, Professor Albert, in fact, he was the brother of Mr. Valamburajan, he called me, Jebamalai. When somebody calls you by your name, when you are a student, you are overwhelmed. And particularly, a famous professor of English calling me, Jebamalai, come here. I went to him with a lot of fear. He said, I read your composition, not bad. That one sentence, a positive sentence said by the professor, made a breakthrough in my life. I thought, even Professor Albert is saying my English composition essay is not bad. That further strengthened my confidence. So I became a very good student. I was scoring very. Now, my real challenge was to articulate in English. I could not speak proper English. And on the top of it, I wanted to be a very good speaker. Then I started listening to the speeches made by great leaders, starting with Abraham Lincoln. Abraham Lincoln is one of the best speakers the world ever had. We know that. And I listened to his speech. Then I read about his life. I got a very important message from his life. Abraham Lincoln, at the age of 35, wanted to become a businessman. Miserably failed, lost everything. Then at the age of 41, he wanted to contest for election, wanted to be a senator. Miserably failed, defeated. At the age of 52, again he wanted to become a businessman. Invested a lot of the family fortune, lost everything. His family was fed up with it, particularly wife. Wife was totally fed up with it. And then at the age of 56, he wanted to be the vice president of US. And his wife was totally convinced that he was mad. His wife took him to a psychiatric doctor for counseling. She thought that something went wrong. It was not normal. And then he was defeated. At the age of 60, he contested for the post of president of America, won. And the moment he assumed office, the first thing what he did was abolition of slavery. And today, America is glorifying him as one of the best presidents the nation ever heard. Look at the life, the perseverance, defeat after defeat after defeat after defeat. But he was totally convinced of his capability. He was totally convinced of his ideological conviction. So he became a great speaker because of convictions. When you have a lot of ideas in your mind, the language will automatically flow. And in order to acquire ideas, you should do a lot of homework. So after finishing my MA, I decided, I got a post as a lecturer in economics in a college, Pioneer Kumaraswamy College in Nagarkoil. I told myself, I will use this opportunity as a great source of emerging as a speaker, good speaker. I told myself, I will not bury my head into notes in front of students. I will teach extempore. without hints, without notes, without reading the book, without reading anything in front of the students. So for each lecture, I did my homework. It's very important. And one of my close friends, Professor Krishnan, told me, I'm surprised. You never take any note. You were not a simple piece of paper. You just go there and deliver extempore, and your lecture was highly applauded, highly applauded. And how could you do that? I used to tell him that I do a lot of homework. I used to tell him, see, when you stand in front of the audience, the students were my audience. I used it as a training ground for speech making. Okay, the students were my audience. Then, since I wanted to emerge as a good speaker, that was a golden opportunity for me. I told my friend Krishnan, I do a lot of homework. I told him, see, when you stand in front of the audience, you should have confidence on each sentence you utter in front of them. How will you inculcate that confidence? The confidence will not fall like manna from heaven. In order to inculcate that confidence, you have to do a lot of homework. What did I do? I didn't want to practice my speech in front of the audience. They would leave. You know that. Once a friend of mine had very bad experience. The organizers asked him to speak just for 10 minutes. His speech exceeded beyond 10 minutes, and the people started leaving. You know, when they leave, they don't leave alone. You know, they give non-verbal clues to the friends and relatives, and they leave in group. Everybody left except one guy sitting and listening to him. So he delivered his long lecture, and having delivered the long lecture, he went to that guy and thanked him. He said, "Thank you very much for your profound sense of tolerance. You are sitting and listening to me for more than 1.5 hours. I am grateful to you." He said, "I am the next speaker. That's why I am sitting here. Otherwise, I would have also left." So I didn't want to stand in front of the audience who would leave. So what I did, I started practicing my speech making inside my room. I talked to the walls because walls will not leave the hall. You do that. If you're serious about becoming a great, powerful speaker, you please talk to the walls first. No one will notice. At home, you tell everybody, your parents, that you are normal. Don't take him to a psychiatric hospital. I'm just practicing my speech. Everything is normal. Otherwise, your brothers and sisters and the parents may suspect something, and you may be taken to a mental hospital, and where you will tell the doctor that I'm perfectly all right, doctor, don't do anything. They will say that whoever comes here tells the same, and they will start the treatment. You may start with the electric shock. That may induce madness. Okay, don't do it. Tell everybody I'm practicing. Talk to the walls. I used to talk to the walls, and I used to talk to the waves in Kanyakumari. Fortunately, I am from the southern tip of India, which is enveloped by 3 seas: Bay of Bengal, Indian Ocean, and Arabian Sea. And I go near the seashore and near the beach and talk to the waves. I got a lot of confidence. Then I also realized that when you address the audience, it is important to spark relevant sense of, a mild sense of, or profound sense of relevant humor. It's very important. For example, I do this. The organizers one day told me that, no, you should not speak for more than 20 minutes. I appreciated it. I started saying that organizers ordered me not to speak for more than 20 minutes. I would like to respect that because it's very important. Then I said, once a friend of mine was asked to speak only for 20 minutes. He exceeded the limit. It happened in the US. One guy sitting in the front row was totally agitated, and he just picked up his gun from his coat pocket, and holding the gun in his hand, he was going around the hall. And then the speaker stopped speaking. He said, during the course of my speech, you are just holding a gun in your hand and going around the hall. What are you trying to do? He said, you continue, you go ahead. I am looking for the guy who invited you. So when you crack a joke like this, and there will be a mild sense of humor in the hall, that creates an enabling environment. You can capture them. Then your challenge is to keep the audience under your captivity. You can keep the audience under your captivity only by perfect sequencing of thoughts. Whatever topic is given to you, today everybody wants everybody to talk about the COVID, the ramifications of COVID. And then if you want to give a lecture on that, you just pick up case studies of best practice practiced by countries like Taiwan province of China. Singapore is another one. Australia now is doing very well. Case studies and present the case studies, everybody will be attracted by that. See, in Taiwan province of China, the total population is to the tune of 24 million. And they did extremely well. And it is located very near to China, the mainland. You may not believe, only 7 people were affected by COVID and 4 guys died. And business as usual from day one. What is the reason? They learned a lot from SARS. When SARS came 14 years ago, they said, oh, similar virus may surface, we should be well prepared. And it was 14 years of preparedness. The preparedness enabled, and they use everything, even the technological marvels to monitor. When someone goes to the railway station, uses the electronic card and to get into the compartment, and the moment you punch that card informs the Ministry of Health whether that guy is suffering from COVID or not. How could they do that? 24 million, out of 24 million, only 7 were affected. So pick up case studies of this type. So sometimes you may get an opportunity to talk about the technological marvels, the disruptive technologies. Now they are creating an environment called creative destruction. What is relevant today will not be relevant tomorrow. This is what is called creative destruction. And the creative destruction is actually underpinned by disruptive technologies. Disruptive technologies are advanced digital manufacturing system, augmented reality, additive manufacturing, artificial intelligence, big data management, cloud computing, and then 3D printers, bio 3D printers, Internet of Things, Internet of Services, and now they even talk about mindset. MindNet. That means they will just engrave an impulse, electronic impulse in your brain. You can immediately comprehend what is going on in the mind of another person. I hope that will not happen. That will not see the light of reality. Now, the minimum is to know, when you get an invitation to talk about the technological marvels of today, and unless you reflect on it, you collect enough. I am an economist. I am not a technology. I am not an engineer. But I can easily do some homework, collect information, and say, always tell yourself, I am going to tell these people something what they never heard of. That will enable you to emerge as a very attractive speaker. Sometimes when you listen to somebody for 30 minutes, there is nothing which you don't know. Sometimes when you go and deliver a lecture with the inflated hope, I am well prepared for this, and the response may be very subdued. Don't be in a depressed, oppressed, suppressed state of affairs. On your part, you did very well. You did your homework and you are totally convinced, you delivered, and maybe you are addressing the wrong audience. It's not your mistake. And you should immediately come out of that. Sometimes it happens. You go and deliver, you spend a lot of time preparing for the speech and go and deliver that. And you should not be intimidated by anything. This is what I'm trying to do. You should not be intimidated by anything. You know, you are totally convinced of your performance. You are totally convinced of your thoughts, what you were trying to disseminate. And if the response is very subdued, not proportionate to the degree of your performance, you should not be carried away by that one. You should overcome. You are overcome that and get ready for the next speech. This is how you have to practice it. Now, I told you my background, a mediocre who could not write one sentence in English, grammatically defensible sentence in English. And now eventually in the UN, it is with the profound sense of humility, I would like to tell you that, I am accepted as one of the best speakers in the UN. If you want to listen to my speech, please key into YouTube, type my family name, Vinanchiarachi. Vinanchiarachi is my family name. And I would request you to listen to my last farewell speech. That was the last speech I delivered in the UN. Actually, it was for 45 minutes, but you will enjoy it. It's full of humor, full of jokes, relevant jokes. And also, of course, some key messages also was given. For example, when I tried to get into the UN, when I landed in Vienna, I told my wife, let us go out for, I saw this huge complex. I asked her, what is this building? She said, UNO City. UNO City in German, UN City is called UNO City. I misunderstood that. Oh, this is university. She said, no, it is not university. UNO City means UN City. Then I thought, okay, this is the place where should I work. The next day, I went to the checkpoint one to tell the security guard that I want to look at the notice board to see whether there is any vacancy befitting my background. He said, notice board is for the staff members. It's not for visitors. If you want to step into this campus, you should know somebody inside and that guy should sign you in. I was upset. Then I told him staff members are already employed. And then the British security guard started ridiculing me in his own very strong British accent. He said, yes, you are right. You are absolutely right. I will tell them. I will tell them to fix up the board somewhere here. Then you can see. One day they may fix it here and then you can come to this. He ridiculed me, humiliated me. But I was not intimidated by that. I told myself, I will be working in this organization. I will step into this. I will get a job here. And one day this guy will salute me. And that happened. That happened. One day he entered my room and he said, good morning, sir. Mission accomplished. And he was saying something about the changing furnitures and this and that. And I thought, I got a nice flashback, the way he insulted me at checkpoint one. So don't allow anybody to intimidate me. As I rightly said, you should believe in your own capability. Whatever you are supposed to do is definitely within your capability. And in order to translate your thoughts into deeds and in order to achieve the target, you should work very hard. Perseverance is very, very important. Spend time on it. Let me go back to the same words. Spend time on what you intend to achieve. It cannot go wrong. I wish you all the best in your endeavor to emerge as great speakers. If I could emerge as a great speaker, I'm sure you all can emerge as best speakers. Thank you.
That was brilliant. So in a nutshell, what our famous doctor wanted to tell us was, Karat karat abhyas ke jadmati ho sujan, rasri avat javate silpar parat nisar. It's one of the most famous Hindi doha. The man whom we just heard and who was kind enough to give us a sneak peek into his life was Dr. Jebamalai, a celebrated sustainable development expert with over 30 years of experience in the United Nations Industrial Development Organization, Vienna, Austria, where he served in various capacities and eventually retired as the principal advisor to the Director General of UNIDO. He has to his credit several degrees with distinctions. He has authored several journal articles, books, and reports highlighting the changing patterns of sustainable development with a focus on economic efficiency, ecological compliance, and social inclusion. His recent books includes Myths and Realities of East Asian Model of Development, India's Time, Rethinking Development Realities, Intervene to Industrialize, and The Poverty of Economic Thinking and Ethics in Politics. A book on his personal life, penned by him, is titled In the Name of Joy and Sorrow. His forthcoming books, co-authored by him, include Positioning Africa in the Context of the New Industrial Revolution and the Resilience of Indian Economy and the Great Reset. He is the Toastmaster, which is very evident. He's also now a resident in the southern tip of India, Kanyakumari. No wonder, sir, your thoughts were as deep as the oceans. And it was a pleasure listening to you and knowing about you firsthand. Thank you so much. Now I would like Khushi to introduce us with the toasters of the day, and let's keep the ball rolling.
Hello everyone, my name is Khushi Nigam and I'm a class 12 student currently studying in Sankal Public School, Bhopal. Now I'll introduce the speakers of the day, starting with our first Gavelier, Zainab Bilal from Srinagar, Kashmir. She is in the sixth grade, studying in Delhi Public School, Srinagar. She is 12 years old and visually impaired. Zainab, is Zainab on the call?
Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. Thank you.
Hello, Zainab. Let's start with your speech, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Zainab, can we please fix your camera so that we can? Yes.
Okay, it is fine. It is fine. Keep it like that now. Okay.
Yeah.
All the best.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. I am Zainab Bilal and I live in Kashmir, which is the crown of India. I was born in 2009 in Srinagar, which is the summer capital of Jammu and Kashmir. I am visually impaired, but I can sense things because of the light which education has provided me. Currently, I am studying in 6th class in Delhi Public School, Srinagar. Since my birth, my parents had to struggle a lot to bring me up and educate me. Actually, in 2015, my mother took me to Dr. Homyar Sir of Bookshare when he visited J&K Handicapped Association. I was very much impressed and felt confident that my disability of visual impairment can be overcome with the help of technology. Then I was trained by Jammu and Kashmir Handicapped Association. Now I can use assistive technology to read on my own and to study. Before that, I was scared to move from one place to another. Now I'm using wide cane for my independent mobility. Thank you, J&K Handicapped Association. However, my life is a continuous journey. However, my life took a divisive turn in 2015 when I got the admission in Special Education Need Department of Delhi Public School, Srinagar. Since then, my life is a continuous journey of struggle, learning, and successes. By the grace of God, whatever I have learned and can speak today is just because of my parents and my beloved wonderful teachers of my beloved school, DPS. Life is hard in general sense, but it is much harder for the person with disabilities. So was the case with special persons living in Jammu and Kashmir. However, in 2019, there was a twist. Article 370 was scrapped. And then RPWD Act 2016 got applicable in our union territory, Jammu and Kashmir. In this, under this act, there is 4% of job reservation and 5% of education reservation for person with disabilities. Now the handicapped people of the state is receiving 1,000 of pension, 1,000 pension, rupee 1,000 pension for in the place of 400 rupee, which was given earlier. Since education and employment are two important tools for us, such an act is a great step forward for us. Like this, now the development is slowly entering our state. My state. But yet we need to build good roads, accessible pathways, buildings and schools, public buildings and schools. Also, the 4% of budget should be dedicated for the welfare of handicapped people elsewhere in India. Only that we can call Kashmir as an inclusive state. I have a dream. I wish to study in I wish to study in world-class university only in Kashmir, right here in Kashmir. Because if peace is achieved, I can study in my hometown. Thank you.
Whenever a speaker complete his speech, you have to say that over to the Toastmaster, over to the Toastmaster of the day. Okay, whoever deliver a speech and finish, they should say over to the TOD or the Toastmaster of the day. Okay, Purva.
Thank you so much, Zainab. It was a brilliant effort on your side. Now I would like to request Arun sir to come and evaluate your speech. Arun sir.
Thank you, Purva. Am I visible and am I audible?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. Zainab, you can hear me, right?
Yes, sir.
Zainab, what a wonderful speech you have given. I was completely awestruck by the conviction in your own capabilities. You started out by saying that life is full of troubles, and for a person with a disability, it is more trouble. But after hearing your speech, it's actually an inspiration for me. I feel inspired by you. If you could have done so much, I think that I can also overcome all other disabilities and all other hurdles that I have in life. You have pointed out that you wanted to study in the best universities in the world, that too in Kashmir. I sincerely hope that your dreams someday will come true. Overall, Zainab, a wonderful speech with full of hope and wishes. To make this speech forward, what you can work upon is you might want to remove the little amount of pauses that you have in your speech. What this will make is it will make the audience more interested in what you say. You had wonderful content, a lot of nice quotes, and a message for all of us. If you try to give this speech in one go with full conviction, you can actually take this speech to the next level. But overall, Zainab, a very good speech, and you are actually a light for so many of us. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hello, Khushi. Let's invite.
Assalamu alaikum. Hello.
Assalamu alaikum.
Hi, let's invite the second Gavalier of the day, Ashwin Saravan. He is 12 years old and is pursuing grade 8 from Sharanalaya Montessori School affiliated to the ICSE curriculum. He engages himself in recitation of Veda and shlokas apart from researching accessibility issues on whichever platform he encounters. Ashwin, can you switch the camera on? Hello.
Hello, ma'am. Can you see me? Can you see me now?
Yeah, we can hear you. We can hear you.
Can you see me,
Go ahead.
sir? Can you see me?
We can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hello.
A very warm good afternoon to one and all. I am Ashwin, studying grade 8 in Sharanalaya Montessori School, Chennai. I hope all of you are keeping safe during these troubled times. Today, I am going to talk about the invisible danger which we are all trying to face. Yes, you guessed it right. It's the COVID-19 or coronavirus. The coronavirus was discovered in China. In 2020, a native from China, a traveler from China had reached his hometown in Kerala. And then the COVID, and he got with him the coronavirus. And slowly, from March 15th and 16th, COVID cases began to rise all over India. Because of this, many schools shut down and the lockdown was enforced. On March 19th, the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, gave a speech. He enforced the Janata Curfew on 22nd March. The Janata Curfew was enforced for a day. Sir, you muted me. Sir, actually you muted me, sir.
Ashwin, now you are audible. Go ahead.
Okay.
Hello, sir. Hello, sir. Hello, ma'am. Hello.
Someone calling.
Hello, Ashwin, you are audible.
Hello.
Okay. So, okay.
Hello.
Okay.
Yes,
Hello.
we can hear you.
Okay.
You can.
Okay. So Janata
Hello,
Curfew
you can hear me?
for a day. So I can hear you. I can hear you well, ma'am. I can hear you. Janata Curfew was enforced for a day from 22nd March. And then from 25th, the lockdown was enforced throughout the country. And because of this, the lockdown was enforced throughout the country. On March, a food fest was scheduled to take place at our school on March 16th. But on the night of March 13th, many of our parents began to protest, saying that there was COVID-19 and they wanted the food fest to be cancelled. I was literally near tears. I didn't understand why all the parents were protesting to cancel the food fest. And then later on, when the lockdown was enforced and the government mentioned that we all had to wear masks and maintain social distancing, I understood then that why our parents had protested for the food fest to be cancelled. And now let me tell you a few benefits about a few opportunities that I have encountered during this COVID pandemic. I learned to do coding, the use of smartphones, and I'll also learn to use the use of Google Meet, Google Classroom, Google Sheets, and many other Google products. Thank you. Thank you all. Over to the Toastmaster.
Thank you. I believe this was basically like reminiscing our past whenever all of these started spiraling and overspilling into our so-called normal life, and we entered into a completely different version. It felt like we are in a different realm when all of this was imposed on us. So thank you so much. But for the experts view, I would like to again invite Arun sir. I hope he has some brilliant insights.
Yeah, thank you, Toastmaster Purva. And firstly, I want to congratulate Ashwin for giving such a thoughtful and such a well-researched speech on COVID, something that which has affected us for the last year and a half. We all have been affected by the COVID, in particularly all the young school children like you who actually have to take all the online classes. But the most striking part of your speech, Ashwin, was the ray of hope that you have shown us. Although we all have been locked down, you have been locked down, but you found an opportunity out of this COVID situation. You said you have learned coding, and you have learned to use many of Google's stuffs like the Google Sheets and all, which in essence is a very positive thing. You are not bowed down by external pressures or by external circumstances, and we always find a silver lining no matter how dark the sky is. So overall, Ashwin, I want to congratulate on your achievement that you have done in this COVID period, and I would like to wish you all the best and thank you for this wonderful speech. Over to you, Toastmaster Purva.
Thank you.
So Kushi, who do we have next?
Okay, the third Gavalier is Aisha Bashir from Qatar. She is in the 4th grade from MES Indian School. She is a junior RJ for many online and broadcasting radios. She is a dancer and singer and has appeared in many albums. She has emceed at many functions in and out of her school. Let's welcome her. Aisha?
Thank you for the wonderful introduction. Shall I start my speech?
Yes.
Honorable dignitaries, guests, and everybody, a very warm morning. So I thought it would be nice if I could share my experience about the new documentary video that has been uploaded yesterday. My mom woke me up at 2 a.m. and took me to the house of my dance teacher, Divya Madam. She was awake and started the makeup. By 3 a.m., I was totally transformed as a mermaid. By 3:30 a.m., Papa was ready with the car. Me, Mom, Dad, and my brother started towards Al Fueras beach, some 90 kilometers far from Doha. By 4:30, we reached there. Oh, I forgot to tell you, sunrise in Qatar is at 4:40. We never visited that beach before, so it was a new experience for me. It was very charming with rocky hill and the seashore, so it was very beautiful. The filmmaker Uncle Mahroof and his wife, photographer Santu Auntie were already there. When we got out of the car, really, we were amazed with the charming scenic, killing beauty and its thrilling seashore amidst rocks. Then I had to wear the costume of the mermaid, which was frankly the most annoying and uncomfortable part of all. The tidal waves were hitting me and I had to lay down on the seashore. But I had to tolerate that situation because it was a mission to pass the message to the world on World Environment Day about the importance of preserving nature for the future. It was an attempt to warn the world against ocean pollution by littering and throwing chemicals to the sea. My brother also had to do a lot. Because you see, as I'm a mermaid, I just had to sit in the sand and the rocks. But my brother had to do a lot of running and jumping. By the way, my brother is also in this meeting. His name is Aftab. We have completed the shooting with 2 sessions at the same time, one in the morning and the other in the evening. All these efforts for just a mere 2-minute short film. But we feel that the outcome of the efforts is very brief and a strong message on the importance of preserving the ocean clean for the future of the world. Do you know that if the present speed of pollution with the plastic is continuing by 2050, there will be more plastic than fishes in the ocean. And by 2100, there won't be any living things in the seas. I request all of you to see our film on this topic, and the link will be available with Ram Uncle. We all know that 5th June every year is celebrated as World Environment Day, and this year's theme is ecosystem restoration. Ecological restoration is defined as the process of assisting the recovery of an ecosystem that has been degraded, damaged, or destroyed by active human intervention or action. This helps build resilience and regenerative ability of the ecosystem. Our Environment is what houses and helps our ecosystem grow and thrive. Without protecting and taking care of our environment, we are putting so many lives at danger, such as animals, plants, and crops, and even our own. All of the ecosystems that make up our environment are deeply connected. Due to pollution and deforestation, the health of many people is poor. Conserving the environment would certainly improve the health of people. Most noteworthy, saving environment would reduce many diseases. Saving environment would certainly protect the animals. Make a genuine effort to protect our environment on a daily basis will make all the difference to our future. Protecting the environment also has benefits for the economy. A healthy environment helps to boost nature-based tourism and encourage responsible travel practices. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much. As usual, you have a way with word. You try to, I'm not even sure how I can put it into words, because my admiration for you, I have never ever tried to conceal it. So I would rather call the expert again. So Bhavna, what do you think of this wonderful piece?
Hi, Aisha. I must say I'm very impressed by the quality of speech, and that was a wonderful story and the way of presenting your thoughts. And I'm sure like climate change and saving the environment is the need of the hour, as we've seen how things are going around. Very creative way, creative topic and way of writing. Hand gestures and facial expressions, voice modulations, all were positive aspects of the delivery. That was a good one, Aisha.
Thank you. Thank you, and please see my short film.
Definitely.
Most definitely, I would like to request each and every member who is present in the audience today, let's go and support our Aisha. Let's go and watch out her movie.
I will post a link in the chat box, okay? So everybody can go and see it.
Thank you, Ramankar. Thank you, sir.
All the best.
Okay,
Thank
let's
you,
okay. Okay, let's get onward with the fourth speaker of the day, who's Anthony Samuel from West Bengal. He is a motivational speaker and is also visually impaired. Anthony, can I see you here?
Yeah, am I audible?
Yes.
Yeah, so my video is okay.
You need to adjust your camera a little apart. You need to adjust your camera a little apart. Yeah, that's fine. That's excellent. Excellent. Go ahead.
Thank you. So, good evening, everyone. And today I'm here. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Ram, sir, for inviting me, for giving me this opportunity. I'm really thankful to you. And second thing, I just want to share that don't worry, I sanitize my mic and sanitize my hand, and already I took the vaccination. So don't worry, COVID is not there. So, so let me start actually I am here to share a story with you. Today I'm going to share a story with you, a story on a boy. His name is Vishal. He's from West Bengal only. And I would not go with this once upon a time, because I know the exact date and everything. So I would go with the date. So 2012, that boy was 17 years old. That boy always wanted to be an actor and always want to be the rich person. He used to earn that time 15,000 rupees per month as salary, and per day 1,000, 2,000 like that. He used to go every day to the bar, pub, clubs, so to drinking, to enjoying his life and all. That time, on his 17th birthday, he bought a bike by 1,80,000 rupees. That was Karishma 223. He bought on his birthday. That was 25th August 2012. And suddenly one day, date was 28th November. he met an accident. After 4 days, when he got his sense back, that time he has lost his eyesight. He couldn't see anything. He was not able to see anything. So few months, 8 months, he was in a mentally like counseling place, hospital, you can say. He was there 8 months. That time when he came back to the house, everybody saying that person cannot do anything. He will be like a person who has nothing, who cannot do anything. His doctor also said that this boy cannot walk. He will be like he will not able to walk. This boy won't be able to stand on his own feet. But he was thinking that yes, I can. Why I cannot do? Why people saying like this? He committed suicide 2 times. He tried to commit suicide 2 times, but he lost. One time in railway, one time in the house, but he lost. He cannot do. He failed to do that. But because maybe his life needs something else, his life wants something else. So that was the thing. But after that time, when he saw that I'm getting chance again, so let's try once. So he enrolled himself in a vocal modulation classes. He took few classes there, and he done a course, and he became an RJ there in Calcutta. He was doing a shows there, doing a show, nighttime show there, evening time show there. He was the best, one of the best RJ in that city. And he used to work as a voiceover artist and act in a few serials as an actor. He used to work. But at the time, few people, they stopped his work. They said this boy is a blind person, he cannot work anything. So from that time, everybody removed him. Everybody, they just like throw him out. So he said, okay, let's see. It's not happening here. So let's go somewhere else. He went to the Mumbai. He went Mumbai to be an actor again. So he slept in the road. 3 nights, 3 days, he slept on the road. That place also, he did not get any chance to perform, to show his talent. He was failed there. When he entered in a studio which called Mahbub Studio, that time they people said, hey, you are a visually impaired person, you cannot do anything, you are a blind person. And he said, no, sir, I can. That people said that, man, we saw the world. We saw the world. Okay, don't think that we are just like simply sitting here. We saw the world. So don't try to teach us. So that boy said then, yes, you people saw the world, but I came here to show the world. This is the thing. And from that day, he have started another fight. He had played a game that called blind football. He played first time in Kerala. It was in Alua. He played there, and after played, when he entered in the ground, he thought this is for me, because everybody, everything you cannot get. Some places are there for you. It's waiting for you. So when he entered in the ground, he thought this is my place. Without cane, without anything, anyone can run here. It's a, you can be the king of your own kingdom. So he started to play there. From that day, he turned himself as a player. So finally, he started playing the blind football. And 2018, he came in the Kerala. He playing there. He started to play as a permanent player of IBFF, Indian Blind Football Federation Academy. So he's playing. Still, he's playing. Last year, 2019, he represent all Asia there, Asian blind people in Thailand, and Asian blind football front of 8 countries, journalists, 8 countries, the press reporters there. They all was there, and he was front of them. He given all lecture, he given the speech, everything. So after that, that person today, if you enter in the Paralympics website or para football website, in the blind football segment, you will get his segment first, his article first, and that person sitting front of you today. His name is Anthony Vishal Samuel, who represents his country, India. So I am today here who can do it. So when doctor said this person cannot do anything, he cannot stand on his own feet, that person running in the ground today. So if I can do, you can do. This is the thing we have to understand. What sir said, that one day we will become a good Toastmaster. But what I think, not one day we'll become. We are a good Toastmaster. From today we have to think that. And this is the thing. And what I think, what is my what I say everywhere, that is destiny decided by the God, and destination which we can decide. If we give our full effort and our hard work to our destination, then we can change our destiny. So this is the thing. Thank you so much. Over to you, Toastmaster of the day.
Thank you so much, Anthony. One thing that I have learned, that if you want to give a speech, you must try and stay away from comedy because it's not easy. But you broke all those taboos. The kind of beginning you just presented was phenomenal. I mean, all of us, we were in hysterics. Thank you so much. We really needed it.
Thank
Bhavna,
you so much.
what do you have to say?
Hi, Anthony. That was a very good storytelling. And I guess when we remove policies and biases for obstacles to opportunities, that's when the whole world benefits. That was a good delivery. And I believe you're an inspiration to everyone around here, and everyone can learn and like get motivated from you. That was a good delivery.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Okay, let's go onwards with the fifth Gavalier of the day, who's Aftab Bashir from a student of MES Indian School, Qatar. He has acted in albums and is interested in public speaking, and now he is a member of Chakshumathi Inclusive Gavel Club. Aftab?
Yes.
Okay, let's start with your speech.
First of all, I want to say thank you for that wonderful introduction. And did you ever imagine that human beings have to suffer without oxygen? And oxygen has to buy for a heavy price, and people around us are dying without oxygen. COVID-19 pandemic has showed us the tragedy too. When the oxygen was abundant around us, we never bothered. We cut trees, destroy forests, and construct industrial oxygen plant. Our environment provides a wide range of benefits, such as the oxygen we breathe, and the food we eat, and the water we drink, as well as the many materials needed in our homes, at work, and for leisure activities. Respected dignitaries, leaders of Chakshumathi, and honorable audience, peace be upon you. Yesterday, June 5th, Saturday, 2021, was the World Environment Day 2021. And the theme is ecosystem restoration. United Nations declared the launch of a decade-long program on ecosystem restoration. We can restore the ecosystem in many ways, like growing trees, greening cities, rewilding gardens, cleaning up rivers and coasts, etc. Environment Day aims to stimulate worldwide awareness of the environment and enhances people's attention and action. It is critical to protect the environment so as to reduce the destruction of ecosystems caused by many reasons. In fact, it is more of a moral obligation for humans to protect the environment from pollution and other activities that lead to environmental degradation. Making a genuine effort to protect our environment on a daily basis will make all the difference to our future. In Increased heat, drought, and insect outbreaks, all linked to climate change, have increased wildfires. Declining water supplies, reduced agriculture yields, health impacts in cities due to heat, and flooding and erosion in coastal areas are additional concerns. Humans impact the physical environment in many ways. Overpopulation, pollution, burning fossil fuels, and deforestation. Changes like these have triggered climate change, soil erosion, poor air quality, and undrinkable water. Plastic pollution, deforestation, and air pollution are only some of the ways humans are damaging the environment. There are many serious effects of the air pollution on the environment, like global warming, climate change, acid rain, smog effect, extinction of animal species, respiratory health problems. To restore the ecosystem, we can save water, save electricity, growing more trees and plants, reducing pollution, saving natural resources, reduce, reuse, and recycle. Volunteer for cleanups in your community, etc. So let us work together to protect the nature, protect the environment, and for the restoration of our ecosystem. Thank you. Over to the Toastmaster of the day.
When I hear to such young talents talking about the environment, I feel secure. I feel that there's still hope left for humankind and for our earth. Right, Bhavna?
Yeah, Purva, I agree with you. As this generation calls it, they are pretty woke and pretty woke and quite aware about all the problems that are in the world, and they've been like providing solutions about them, worried about them, and quite aware as well. And Aftab, I must say that was a very well-paced speech, and that was excellent eye contact, very expressive as well. The great pronunciation and articulation of your words. And about
Thank
the
you so
topic,
much.
yeah, well, about the topic, yeah, so about the healthy environment is the source of life for everyone, I believe. And this is something that we should all be concerned about. And I'm glad you chose that topic on the event of World Environment Day. Over to you, Toastmaster.
Okay, so let's introduce the sixth Cavalier of the day, Harun Karim. He recently graduated from the 10th standard from Government Higher Secondary School, Mankada, with 90% marks. He got the chance to become the first student to write SSLC examination using a computer in Kerala. Now he is pursuing an IB diploma from the White School International. He wants to attend Stanford University to learn computer science. Harun, are you there?
I hope am I audible, isn't it?
Yes, yes.
Okay. So can I start? Can I start? Hello?
Go ahead.
Yes,
Go ahead.
go ahead.
Okay. So education is a right of a student. Rather than that, education is a responsibility of a country. We all are getting educated through various mechanisms created and presented by our educational systems and governments. But everyone get proper education nowadays? The answer is no, because practically speaking, education is side mounted to some peoples and some communities around India. What I'm supposed to say is about blind students in India. Generally, students are learning through inclusion, social communication, and subjects. But what is happening in the case of a student with vision impairment? He is just joining a blind school anywhere in India, and he is just started learning music and craft. Primarily, what is happening in the country, students are not getting any chance to learn math and science in the most of the blind schools. The reason is very simple. Even the teachers are blind and they don't know how to teach math and science to the kids. So as you all know, importance of maths and science for a person who with or without disability is important in their life rather than a career. So what is happening? Students are passing out without the fundamental knowledge of mathematics and science, even without the knowledge of English. What is happening? The students didn't get a chance to communicate to each other. Students are just joining blind school and communicating with only blind students and blind teachers. They don't know how people without disability communicate and talk together. So what's happening? They don't know how to speak in a public, how to communicate, how to behave in a public. So actually, through this system, our students are become side-mounted. Actually, education is a right. Actually, everyone is getting the right to educate, to learn themselves. Let me say my experience. I was joined a blind school in 2011. And what happened? I requested my teachers, hey, I want to learn maths since my sisters learn math and I heard they are doing a lot of problems with mathematics from their first standard onwards. So what happened? The teacher said, maths is not for you. They said, go and do some craft, go and do some music. So they're suppressing my interest and they are compelling me to do whatever they have. Actually, a blind student have the equal right to have like any other student. But what is happening? They didn't get a chance to learn whatever they want. So primarily, we should change this boycotting blind schools. Our students have the capability to learn in inclusive schools. If the syllabus and authority allows, the syllabus is completely adaptable and accessible for a visually impaired person. Even in chemistry or sociology, the student can learn whatever the sighted student. Now I am studying in IB diploma. IB is an international syllabus. I feel complete accessibility there because the syllabus and the producers are ready to adopt the syllabus according to the need of a person with disability, with complete inclusiveness. So what is happening in the world is not happening in India. We should work unitedly to break this barrier, and we should promote inclusive education and our educational system and our authorities. Rather than that, all the students and teachers should take an initiative to make this India inclusive. We all say one thing, Indians are very intelligent. Like that, Indian visually impaired students are also intelligent. Give them a chance, they will rock. Thank you. Over to the topic.
I agree. Our society is lagging behind, but if we have leaders like Ram sir, I'm pretty sure we'll be able to catch in some time. We are not there yet, but we are definitely striving to reach there to make our community inclusive. Over to you, Bhavna.
Harun, that was a wonderful speech. And even I believe disability inclusion is a fundamental right. And disability inclusion is central to the promise of the 2030 Agenda and Sustainable Development by UN as well. So I believe there are going to be changes now, and we're looking forward to it. And we hope there are. It becomes more inclusive. About your speech, it was very well articulated. Your speech modulation, your presentation, that was top notch. And all the best, Harun.
Thank you.
Over to you to the Toastmaster.
Okay, so the seventh speaker of the day is Gavelier Destiny Dixon. He has become a Chakshumathi technology student with Chakshumathi's Let's Flatten the Inaccessibility Curve project. Destiny, can I see you here?
Very great.
Yes.
Yes.
I think he's not attending the meeting.
Start video. Hello, can you see me?
Yes,
Hello?
I can.
Hello, can you see me?
I can hear you.
No, not at. Yeah. Now
Can I go
your
on?
camera is on. Yeah.
The
But it is-
placement of the camera is not accurate. We can only see the glare, not you.
It is the opposite side of the light.
No problem. Can you hear? I'll start video. We're cross video. Can I go on?
You can go on without the camera if you want. You try it out, otherwise you can go on without the camera.
You're not hearing with this. Oh, yeah. So can I? You cannot start your video because the host have disabled it. Okay, let me speak. Hello, sir.
Yeah, Destiny, you go ahead without the camera, no issues, if it is not possible.
Okay, but can I try the video once more?
Yeah, please do. You have enough time to do that.
Okay. Can we please try the video again? Double tap. Okay, you're saying me, right? No. I can't go show. Who was the issue?
I think your camera is not on.
Okay. It says my camera is not on. Yes.
It is on now.
I never see you. Wait,
yeah, not bad. Go ahead. You can go ahead.
Can I go now? I don't know who you.
Yeah, we can see you. Go ahead.
Sir, can you see me now?
Yeah, I can see you. No problem. There is a glare, but there is no issues. Go ahead. Okay.
Okay. Good day, everybody. My name is Destiny Chakshumathi. I want to speak about how I got to be involved with media and communication. Now, when I tell people that my desire is to be professor of communication, many people often think that I've always loved mass communication. But no, my initial desire was some other course, but fate steered me towards media and communication. So I took it with both hands, and I would like to relate to us how I'm using media and communication in advocacy for persons with disability. Now, this started in 2015 when I was in 300 level at University of Jos. Now, the publisher of Extra Mile Africa reached out to me and said, Destiny, I want to get you involved with this magazine. So I said, okay, fine. And after a few weeks or months of working with him, he made me managing editor of Extra Mile Africa. I decided to talk about Extra Mile Africa because I've worked about 6 years with Extra Mile Africa. I do not earn a salary, but the passion for the job keeps me going. Now, you might say, passion. How does passion work in this case? Let me give you a few instances. Now, recently, somebody, a para athlete, bound for Tokyo 2020, I got in touch with her because I needed to write an article on Tokyo 2020. So I reached out to her and we had an interview. Now, this was against, can I say, the desire or against the desire of the publisher, not necessarily because he didn't want it. He wanted it at first, but he knew that it would demand resources. So I told him, don't worry, I'll go the extra mile. And I went the extra mile, got the interview, and I have my article. And that's not just the article. We're working toward the next edition of Extra Mile Africa, and I've gone a long way in helping to ensure that we're able to achieve this. Now, for Extra Mile Africa, it has made me realize a whole lot of things. By the way, Extra Mile Africa is a quarterly magazine, and we call it, or we like to call it, the voice of persons with disability. So Extra Mile Africa has given me the tool, the platform to reach out to persons with disability out there. It's more like helping me to voice out the problems, the challenges, and the situations that beset persons with disability. And because of my work with Extra Mile Africa, I've gotten to observe a dichotomy, and that dichotomy is between the rights-based approach to disability issues and the charity-based approach to disability issues. I've met a whole lot of people, and it helps us to achieve our goals. If disability is embraced, meaning our education, it means we don't struggle over everyday issues. It means all the rights and challenges some of the constitutional stories in all
Hello, Destiny. I'm so sorry to interrupt you in between your toast, but there is so much of white noise that you're barely audible. Would you like to go back 5 sentences and then restart probably, so that we can have a better understanding of your entire toast?
Your voice is breaking, Destiny.
Yeah, it's breaking quite bad. A lot of disturbance, definitely. Destiny, would you like to reconnect with us? Let's give it another shot. Try to leave the meeting and reconnect. If you're facing any kind of trouble, you can use chat box to voice that out.
Voice is breaking too much.
Yeah.
Okay.
Let's try and move on to.
Let's see whether he is reconnecting. Otherwise, we'll move on.
Okay, definitely so.
No, we can go to the next speaker if you want. I think one more speaker is there, or?
I think that's a good suggestion. Khushi, let's introduce our next
Okay,
speaker.
so yeah, let's introduce the 8th speaker of the day, who's Harsh Mittal. He is a 9th grade student from New Delhi and studying at the National Association of the Blind. Today, he will represent his views about the lockdown. Harsh?
Good afternoon.
Okay.
Can I start my speech?
Yeah,
sure.
please do.
Lockdown is a protocol for the lockdown is a protocol that was announced by a government in case of emergency. All people was in their homes and not allowed to come out in public place. All shops, offices, parks, malls, and places where people work on large number are closed. Lockdown is announced by the central government of India during the pandemic COVID-19 for 68 days from 25 March 2020 to 1 June 2020. COVID-19 is a communicable disease that was spread by coronavirus by sneezing, coughing, shaking hands, and contaminated air. Many people lost their life during this pandemic. Many children lost their parents. Government makes some rules and regulations during lockdown that were all shops, offices, mall and public places are closed. Only emergency services are open. People wear masks and keep 6 feet social distancing when they are outside from their homes. Effect of lockdown on the people life. People can't come to each other's houses. Students can take online classes after from 1 year. Many people can work from homes. Many people lost their life during this pandemic. During lockdown, many people facing the problem of employment. There was a lot of benefits of lockdown on people. People can spend their time with their families. COVID-19 is reduced during lockdown. Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Harsh. Few weeks back, we had a dedicated session on lockdown and people with disabilities, how it has come up and given us a lot of opportunities. At the same time, it has really made us confined to the four walls of our homes. I'm glad that you summarized our experience and you also gave us factual information regarding it. Thank you so much. Bhavna, any suggestions for Harsh?
Harsh, that was a good speech. The content was good. I would suggest that you would pace your speech a little bit and give a little pauses and work on a little more voice modulation as well. Otherwise, the content was great. The speech was great. Yeah, looking forward to more stuff. Over to you, Toastmaster.
I have a small suggestion, right? Okay, on Harsh. Harsh, what we are hearing in a speech engine or a screen reader doesn't have the feelings or the voice modulations. Okay, so I have seen many of the children with visual impairment speak like their screen readers or the speech engines. There is no reflections in their speech. There is no modulation, pause and punctuation will not be there. So Harsh, you need to improve on taking break, taking voice modulation for the things which you are speaking. Okay, good, but it's a good attempt. Good attempt. Thank you. I think Destiny is back.
Yes, let's try and reconnect with Destiny. Let's see what our Destiny has for us. Destiny, would you like to come and take us through your toast now?
Can you copy?
Can you hear me now?
I can't. I've not been seeing. Okay.
Hello, can you see me? Hello, can you see me now? Hello?
Yeah, yes, we can see you. Go ahead.
Okay, you can see me now. Okay.
We can see
I go
you.
on?
Very good. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, fine. Fine. Good day, everybody. My name is Destiny Chukuma Dixon. I want to relate to us how my journey into media and communication began and how I have used this as a tool in advocacy for persons with disability. Now, when I tell people that my desire is to be professor of communication, oftentimes they think that I have always loved mass communication, but that's not true. I must say, however, that fate steered me towards media and communication. Now, I wouldn't want to bore us with my schooling from 2010 to 2012, where I bagged distinction in my diploma level and subsequently graduating in 2017 at the degree level. I would leave that. But from 2015, when I got or let me put it this way, the publisher of Extra Africa got in touch with me and said, Christine, I want you to work with me. It's a young magazine, and I believe we can use this as a tool for advocacy. I was excited at that prospect. But I must say, however, that after a few months of working with him, he made me managing editor of the magazine. And within your mindset, you might begin to think, oh, the salary must be huge. Just to let you know, I don't earn a salary, but the passion for the job keeps me going. Okay, now I've worked with Jebamalai from 2020 on, or we're working towards producing, and I've been working on articles, doing a bit of interviews here and there. So, Extra Mile Africa, you might want to know what it's all about. Extra Mile Africa is a magazine focused on disability-related issues. It's a quarterly magazine, meaning that it gives me opportunity to also get involved in all the NGO activities and all of that. So for Extra Mile Africa, I've come to observe a dichotomy that exists. One, in the rights-based approach to disability issues, and two, in the charity-based approach to disability issues. Having heard from various professionals, I am of the opinion that the rights-based approach to disability issues is best. Why? Because our education is guaranteed, our health is guaranteed, access to transportation and accommodation and all sorts is guaranteed. So we must all work towards promoting the rights-based approach to disability issues. Now, one other thing that excites me about the job is a particular story that occurred a few years ago, probably 2017. I worked on that story, and it had to do with a conjoined twins that needed money for separation. We followed that story, Extra Mile Africa. We followed the story through until eventually the funds were raised and the children were successfully separated. It is these exciting news that gives one the wherewithal, the desire, the boost that one needs. Now, as I look towards becoming professor of communication, I hope I can have the chance to impact the world on a higher level. I hope I can do more with regards to the advocacy process. I hope I can make more impact. Now, that's for external Africa. I'm involved also with a disability organization called, or an NGO called, Disability Rights Action Group. And I'll just give you a thing or two of what Disability Rights Action Group is all about. Disability Rights Action Group actually is made up of a collection of lawyers and professionals, and their aim, or our aim in drag, is to defend, protect, and preserve the rights of persons with disability. Wherever the rights of persons with disability are violated anywhere, drag stands in for that person with disability. There have been scenarios like that. The recent one is the case of a barrister, a lawyer, if you like. Her name is Catherine. She booked a flight from Lagos to Abuja, but she was discriminated against, and she could not board the flight anymore, and they won't refund her money. So this stirred up controversy in the disability community in Nigeria. Drag also got involved. I played my part. I reached out to the lady, and we got to know more about the issue. The executive director of Disability Rights Action Group also, after reaching out to the lady, he got back to me and said, please meet me on and I really know that behind the scenes. Eventually, for a week, and she didn't have access to her luggages and all of that. So she's been wearing one clothes for about a week. And that's what the kind of problem, the challenges persons with disability face. So we got the flight for her, but eventually, after much uproar, the communication department of the airline reached out to the lady, and the rest is history. So with the blessing of media and communication, God has given some of us the ability to stand up for people when their rights are violated. God has given us the ability to help people solve their problems. You know that we are problem solvers. And that's what my desire is, to help solve problems at a higher level. I know Professor of Communication has loads of work. I'm ready for that. Right now, I'm looking out to see if I could get admission to do master's and subsequently my PhD. I look forward to the enabling support to make this happen. But I must say, having not been interested in media and communication from the start, I am enjoying life in media and communication, all thanks to people behind the scenes who help propel you when you're down. I must also commend Toastmaster Ram Kamal, sir. You've been great. I must commend my parents and my mother, she's a single parent though, and every other person who has been of massive help. And when the awards begin to come, I will surely remember that you all made this happen. Thank you. Over to the Toastmaster.
Taking up your lives and the future. Thank you so much. And we are glad that we were able to reconnect with you. Otherwise, you would have missed on such a beautiful thing. So, Bhavna, over to you.
Destiny, that was a wonderful speech with real-time stories, and that was a nice play of words. I was impressed by the show of emotions during the speech. I guess you felt it that way. That was portrayed throughout your speech. And I agree with you. We have a lot of changing mindsets, laws, and policies to ensure the rights and dignities for persons with disabilities around the world. And I urge all participants here to be more ambitious in implementing their commitments to ensure the realization and their rights towards all persons with disabilities. Over to you, Toastmaster.
So, The last speech by Destiny marks the end of our session. I would like to invite Ram sir to give a beautiful conclusion to this beautiful session.
Okay, I don't think I will be able to do a beautiful conclusion, because the person who can do a beautiful conclusion is our President, Toastmaster Dr. Jebamalai Vinanchiarachi. Let me request him to do his overall impression.
Okay, thank you very much. Having listened to all these wonderful speeches, I am speechless. In the near future, we are all going to work with three things that is called Industry 5.0. We all will be conditioned to work with smart machine, robots, and artificial intelligence. This is going to happen in the very near future. These technological marvels will complement the efforts of our emerging speakers. I tell you, once they start working with these technological marvels, they will not be disabled persons, they will be differently abled persons, capable of performing much better than others. And with these technological marvels, they will make a big difference. My best wishes are always with them. And our Chakshumathi Inclusive Toastmasters Help Club and Gavel Club will render timely and adequate help to facilitate all that they want to endeavor to do. One small advice, while trying to emerge as great speakers, please don't try to overdo. I was overdoing. You know, whenever I get invited for speech making while shaving, I used to reflect on the logical sequence of thoughts, anecdotes to be made, a sense of humor to be sparked, and how to start, how to wind up, what should be the key message. In that process, I used to cut my face. I was cutting my face very frequently. Then I told my friend, this is what is happening. And he told me, hereafter, why can't you concentrate on your face and cut your speech? And you also follow that. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Excellent, 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 excellent. Okay, guys, I'm very proud of all the speakers today. We had a wonderful first day of Chakshumathi Inclusive Toastmasters and Gavel Club. Being a member of this club, I know, as Andre Agassi's coach said, you will be stars in the coming years. We'll have our next section on 20th of this month, the third Sunday. So I wish to see you all on the next third Sunday, the same Zoom link. So before we wind up, I want to say thanks to Chakshumathi's great supporters, Bookshare International Accessible Library, and the IndieKI organization from Bangalore. Because IndieKI and Bookshare is our right hand and left hand in all progressive programs, what we are doing. And also I should thank Purva. This morning, she had a spasm attack. So when she gets the spasm attack, she can't talk. She'll be having difficulty in breathing. But again, my little girl, Purva Mittal, became the Toastmaster of the day and performed very well. Purva, we all are with you, and you will be Toastmastering Chakshumathi's all events. And also to evaluator, Mr. Arjun and Bhavana Singh, for giving your expert advice to the budding speakers. Also, Kushi, you are an upcoming Toastmaster. Keep it up. So guys, thank you very much. Those who want to propose a toast in the next Toastmaster Club event, please write to the respective WhatsApp group that you want to propose a toast and this is the subject, so we can sequence your speeches. Also, inform all your friends not to shy away. Join the Chakshumathi Inclusive Toastmasters and Gavel Club and become excellent speakers. And today's speakers are tomorrow's leaders. Thank you all and have a wonderful evening. And once again, wishing you all the best. See you all next club meeting on June 20. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Purva, you can close the meeting by
Okay,
seeing
thank
the
you. Handshake.